Aloha and welcome back to the favorite part of your Thursday afternoon. We have another episode of the Hawaii Food and Farmer series. I am your host, Justine Espiritu. My lovely co-host is taking a vacation. So just to kind of remind you, the purpose of this show is to feature not only the farmers that are producing the food we eat here, but we want to kind of get the background and history of all those that are involved with our vibrant food system. We want to get an idea of where we've come from and what's kind of the vision for the future here, and kind of bring the folks that are in the background to light so we can get a full understanding and appreciation for what goes on in a community revolving around food. Today, I'm really excited about this episode. We have a full house. We are featuring the future farmers of America, specifically the Waipahu chapter. So we talk a lot about we want more food security for our islands. We ask who is going to grow that food. And today we're going to talk to some of the young folks, the next generation. So I'm really excited. Thank you all for joining me. So this first segment, we have Jeff Garvey, who is a teacher at Waipahu High School and also the FFA advisor. Next to Jeff is Mac Belbach, who is the current Waipahu chapter president. And next to Mac, we have J.R. Mayola, sorry, what's your role in FFA?
I'm the Sentinel.
The Sentinel.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining me. Thanks for being willing to be on this first segment. So I'd like to start with kind of getting a background of the program nationally. What's kind of the purpose, and how did we get this going in Hawaii? Maybe how many high schools are kind of involved, and start from there. So as the president, do you want to kind of start us off?
Yeah, I'll start off. So basically, on a national level, what FFA is, it states in the name, is Future Farmers of America. And basically what we're doing for FFA on a national level is teaching kids about agriculture, whether it's becoming an environmental engineer, to raising pigs, to doing your own farm, how some of us want to do currently right now. So basically that's on a national level, just a broad overview of what FFA really is.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what I thought. Is it primarily production based? Folks that want to go into food production, or does it have more diversity in it?
I think what a lot of people don't realize, it does has a lot of diversity to it. You have in the mainland people learning how to fix tractors and things such as like that. Here in Hawaii, how we have some students currently here right now doing biotechnology, which is also falling under agriculture. It just isn't all based on farming, what mm-hmm. people don't really realize. So it has so many broad things you can branch out to.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and maybe Jeff, you can kind of talk about, did it come into, how many high schools have this, and what does it kind of take to start a chapter in a particular school?
Well, there's, I think, currently 18 chapters. Mac, you can...
Around there, 18 and 19.
In Hawaii.
Yeah, and there's new ones coming up. It's a lot of work. It helps to have teacher support. There's especially to run an FFA, you need, there's three components. There's the leadership component, which is the public speaking, that kind of thing. And then there's the project component, doing a supervised ag experience, where the students are supposed to run a project on their own with their advisors' consultation. And then you have the classroom experience. So it's not just one facet, it's three facets, three different types of curriculum. And right now I have a couple co-teachers with me that have offered their help. I used to be a solo FFA advisor, but you need the help. You need the teacher support, you need the administration support, which I wholeheartedly have, and state support as well.
Okay, well, because it's interesting, we just recently had on, for example, the Farm to School Network, and so we're talking about these programs that have been kind of primarily initiated by nonprofits, the idea that we want to bring these concepts of local food and fresh, healthy food and growing food into these classrooms. And I was surprised to hear that we have this like vibrant FFA kind of program. So this has been an established program for a while here. So the idea of the level of integration for an understanding of agriculture and understanding of where your food comes from. How much is this, the fact that it's this whole different segment off of the curriculum, I guess I want to kind of understand that. How is this in addition to what's already been taught in school? Some of these things you're talking about, like the leadership, how is this connected? How is agriculture kind of the core that builds these skills? And why is it separate from the general curriculum?
Well, Matt can attest to this. To be a farmer, to do these projects that I expected of everybody, they have to step up. They have to step up and be a leader. Mm-hmm. It is extra work, and without that extra 110%, and every farmer knows this, you're not going to get anywhere. Mm-hmm. So it's for instance, we did a project with our culinary program, and they have reached out to us, and we reached out to them in a symbiotic way, and I sent Mac and some students up to create an aquaponics system for our culinary program.
And where's that program?
That's on the other side of campus.
Okay.
And they have their own little greenhouse, and when we have VIPs come and visit the campus, or the students themselves in the coloring department will come out and harvest herbs and whatnot, green onions, lettuces, and tomatoes to integrate into their cafe. And my students, Mac especially and JR, have been integral in getting that up and running as a side project.
Okay, so yeah, I think we have these like extracurricular activities or different kind of opportunities in high schools that I guess you take the initiative to take on and build these leadership skills. So why don't we, JR, if you can kind of explain for the different options that are kind of available to develop those skills, what interests and what attracted you to FFA?
Well, for me, what attracted me to FFA is aquaponics in general. Because then, since I want to be a marine biologist when I grow up, I kind of wanted to grow fish too. So when I got into FFA, I learned a lot of different skills. For example, aquaponics, aquaculture. I learned how to take care of fish, how to grow fish in our own tanks. Because right now, in Waipahu High School, we grow our own fish. So when we had that incident where our fish was stolen, yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. So we had our fish stolen, and we actually grew a lot of fish back from that incident. So right now in our own system, we are growing tilapia that are hybrids of other tilapia. So it's like it has the colors of a koi, but it's basically tilapia.
Okay. And so other than fish, what are you growing in the system?
We can also grow native Hawaiian plants from the system. Actually, right now we're growing koas, and we can also last time we're growing green onions, mint, and a lot more. Yeah.
Okay. And then how much of it is aquaponics versus when I got interested in farming and I just thought of I guess using soil. So I'm curious of how then the program, and one, how do these projects get initiated? How do you choose what kind of project to focus on? And how has that evolved, or how does that adapt to where, if that makes sense?
Well, in each chapter, there's really like a variety of space which you can grow food in. For example, in our school, there's not that much space, so we mostly focus on aquaponics and either gardening on beds. So when I started in FFA, we started off with square foot gardening, and what we did there was that we spaced off plants in little foot by foot squares, and we basically grew them from there. So we grew tomatoes and green onion and many more.
Okay. Can you kind of explain, so every chapter, is there like a specialty within each chapter, or how do you decide?
I guess for us, like Jared's mentioned before, is aquaponics is such a heavy thing in our school, and I think that's our specialty. Is
And it's because of the limited space
Yeah.
you have?
yeah, there's a lot of limited space compared to like Lelua, where they have massive areas where they can plant actual vegetables and do actual in-ground farming, and how they have live animals there. So they do live animals and such things like that. And Waipahu, we're mainly more of just aquaculture, aquaponics type of thing. Then we branch off more to like biotech, which is in kind of a small office area, but it still makes a huge impact. So each chapter kind of does their own thing. I haven't kept up with McKinley's chapter, but I know Kalani is also trying to get into biotech and also aquaponics and such
So
things
what does
like
that, what does that mean, get into biotech? I mean, do you guys have like labs?
We
Or
do
that
have-
seems
yeah.
kind of advanced, so I can't imagine how that happens in a high school.
It's a small lab working area with all the essentials, and I believe Macy and Jeremiah will go henceforth into more information about that lab in the next couple of segments that are coming up actually. So just a broad overview is biotechnology is basically working with plants and cutting them and basically kind of making clones of them in a way. And like I said before, Macy will abbreviate more on it. But yeah, we do have a lab. It's a small lab, but it is working. We also do algae-based projects there, such things like that to help correlate with other programs that's going on. So one thing that me and Mr. Garvey wanted to do coming up is raise saltwater fish in aquariums. And the basis for like small saltwater fish or baby fish is you need a food product, and that food product would be algae for us to feed the baby fish. So basically, we're trying to just get everything to correlate with each other, whether we're always trying to just conserve energy or be sustainable, which is another key word that our school likes to bring up a lot when it comes to agriculture, is how can we become more sustainable and waste less. Like Gerald, who's the fish guy, and I'm also a co-fish guy with him.
Co-fish
basically,
guy.
Yeah. Basically, what we do is we back flush to clean the tanks. We don't waste the water. We're sending the water into either this grassy area or these two plotted areas of plants, and we're putting water into there. So we're trying not to waste as much water as we can, basically. So yeah, there's a lot of things going on in just such a small area that most people don't realize. Yeah.
Okay. We're about to go to a break. So really quickly, if you, Jeff, can kind of explain what made you take the initiative of how you see this program is important and how these agriculture skills kind of lead into other maybe leadership skills or things that they can take with them even if they don't pursue food production.
Being in charge of a live system, whether in Mac's case, greenhouse management, JR, greenhouse management, fish, plants, any living system is extremely difficult to not only care and manage for, but to make it productive, to make it business worthy. And I can't think of any other better way to hone your leadership skills with something as difficult as that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I mean, when I kind of thought about when I got interested in food, it seems such a central tenet of a community and kind of the way things are connected. So that makes sense to me that this program is kind of based around that and builds off of that. Awesome. So we're going to take a quick 60-second break and rotate some other folks in to get some other perspectives. All right. Thank you.
Here's the deal. I'm Jay Fidel. I'm the host of Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy, which is the Energy Policy Forum's program on Wednesday. That's how we call Wednesday Energy Wednesday. We call it Energy Wednesday every Wednesday. Are you surprised? Okay, and we try to get guys like Jim Alberts here from Hawaiian Electric who can tell us what's really going on in energy. We want to be informed. It's so important. It's the most important initiative in our state. Clean energy is major, okay? And that's why we cover it on this show. That's the deal. What do you think, Sharon?
I think that's great. That's why we're here every Wednesday from 4 to 5, and we hope you all join us so we can hear people like Jim coming on our show and co-host Ray Starley from Hawaii Energy.
Okay, Jim, you've been here today. You've seen this. You heard what she said. What do you think?
I think it's a tremendous opportunity for people to come together and talk about the issues. Oftentimes, there isn't a good forum to bring these key issues out into the public, and this is a tremendous way to go about it. And the activity of this show is essential to keep talking about energy because, as you said, it's such an essential part of our lives that we need to pay attention to it and we need to think about the future.
Okay, Ray, your turn.
Well, this is a special time in the history of Hawaii where we're making some pretty radical changes in the way we use energy and generate energy. And this show is the one place you can count on coming to every Wednesday and hearing something about the latest issues that are on the table, being discussed, that will affect us all going forward. So come join us, and if you have some ideas you want to share with us about energy, give us a call and let us know. We'll put you up here and let you talk for an hour. So come see us.
Thanks, Ray. Thanks, Sharon. Thanks, Jim. It's great to be, from Think Tech's point of view, it's great to have this show. We love the show. It's our most important show. So come around and listen to us 4 to 5 on Wednesday. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha, namaskar, and hello. My name is Anu Hittel, and I host the show called Climate Change Beyond Outrage. We go beyond outrage to find solutions to climate problems facing people, nations, and the world. I hope you will join me here every Tuesday at 1 o'clock. We broadcast live from thinktechhawaii.com. Aloha and bye-bye.
Aloha and welcome back to the second segment of Hawaii Food and Farmer Series. I'm your co-host, Justine Spiritu. Today we are featuring FFA. I am keeping the Waipahu Chapter President, Mac Bell, back here as co-host with me.
Hello again.
To help me navigate through this segment. I want to remind you that you can join the conversation. If you have any questions for these future farmers, feel free to tweet them in at ThinkTechHigh. So for this next segment, we have a couple of new students on. We have Lily Feliciano, and we also have Alana Miyashiro. So thank you guys so much for coming in. Again, what I'm always just really curious about the different roles that folks have in agriculture, and so much focus recently on Oahu and in Hawaii has been about where is agriculture and food production going? We're losing ag land. We have this idea that the younger generations are losing an interest in farming. Family farms, their kids aren't interested in carrying the tradition. So when I heard we had a really active FFA program, I was really curious to kind of get that perspective. You guys are the younger generations, and I'm curious if we can start kind of with maybe what your specialty is within the program or your kind of focus, and get an idea of your general, what attracted you into the program.
For me, I recently moved here from Vegas, so I came from a place that was completely desert, nothing really grows in Vegas, to a place where everything is green. And I've never even heard of FFA until I moved down here. And so I thought it was different, and I thought it was interesting. And I love being outdoors, and I like the change of seeing green and grass. And so that's why I joined FFA.
Okay, and then when you joined, what did you, how do you kind of get into a specialty role within FFA or a focus? Like, how did you become the fish guy? What's your niche within the program?
You just find what interests you the most. So for me, I'm in environmental resource management. So we focus on a lot of conservation and things like that. And so we go out to places like Puhala Marsh, and we study the native plants there and the native animals, and we go out to elementary schools and we outreach and we teach them about conservation and adopt a forest and things like that.
Okay. What about for you?
My specialty is environmental resource management as well. I focus more on the cultural context of places, so like Puhala Marsh. As for what I do in FFA, it'd be cultural context, yeah.
In the culture. Also, in that sense, is there an influence on what kind of food you guys are growing at the schools in terms of like a cultural context of things that are endemic or?
Native Hawaiian plants mainly. We take them back out to places like reserves, and we plant them out there, and that's our main job.
Okay, so this is beyond even your site on campus.
Yes.
You guys are going out in the community and doing that. Awesome.
Because I think it's important to take things not just in the classroom, but outside, and how you can apply what you're doing at school to other places and take it to another level.
Mm-hmm. And in that same sense, you guys talked about doing some outreach at maybe the elementary schools.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little more about that?
So we took koa seeds, yeah. Yeah, and we helped the kids plant them. And then once their seeds sprout, then we're going to take them out into the forest and plant them, because we need to restore native forests.
Okay. And so, and then part of the leadership skills of the program, can you kind of explain, so having the role as a president, what does that mean versus, just focusing on a project at school?
So as Rose president, you're kind of, I want to say, kind of like a father type of thing, where you watch over everybody and you're teaching the younger kids basic skills that they need to go into agriculture. And when I first became president, it felt kind of like a heavy burden, and I was scared. I didn't know if I could handle this or not, and then I found out that I could, and I met tons of people through FFA. And so with FFA, you learn tons of leadership skills. I wouldn't be the person I am today with FFA. And so it made me more confident in myself as a person, and made me look at us right now. We're here talking in front of a live show right now. And I wouldn't
Hundreds,
think I'd be,
millions of viewers.
I wouldn't think I'd be here right now, honestly.
Yeah.
So also just really gets kids out there and outgoing and interacting with everybody, and I think that's what kids need at a young age.
Yeah. Well, yeah, even that idea of going into these schools to present and kind of offer some insight to younger generations, it takes a certain kind of initiative, and to kind of spread this knowledge about this particular topic is really exciting. And so that interests me as well with the whole FFA structure. So for example, I got to crash the conference a couple weeks ago, and there is, in this formal setting, you guys have to present particular projects. Can you kind of explain how that happens and what goes on at the conference? I saw also this whole exhibit of, it looked like hundreds of plants you had to identify as well.
So Lily and Lana didn't go to the state conference, but they did go to the district conference, and basically it's kind of like the same thing. It's just state is just one more higher up there if you place in district. So I think Lily and Alana can describe to you Plan ID is what they did at the district conference. I'll let them do that right now.
So all of the plants that we were given were found on Hawaii. They were either native or invasive, and it was our job to be able to identify them based on what they look like, and also their genus species, so their scientific and common name. And that is really skills we can take out into the field. Yeah.
And so speaking of skills that you can take out into the field, what are you guys thinking of pursuing food production, or going in more to, specifically into conservation? If you could kind of, because like what I was saying earlier, the FFA I knew when I was growing up is you had pigs and you were raising pigs. So it was very limited, but I'm just curious of this diversity of pursuits, of how you see this leading to that. So just if you have, career-wise, what are you thinking this can apply to?
Me, I'm definitely looking to go into conservation, actually. So when people think of FFA or just agricultural in general, you really picture soil, and that's all you really look at. And it's not that. I feel I'm the balance between agricultural and environmental, and that's what conservation is for me, and that's what I get from FFA.
Okay. And how about you?
For me, conservation is, maintaining the land, keeping it the way it is. And agriculture, it affects the land because you're planting things. And so when you look at agriculture, you have to understand how it affects the land and how it changes it and how we can make it better to conserve natural resources in a better way.
Yeah, I like, and then the way you say that, are you able to kind of look critically, or with a kind of more critical analysis of what's going on in agriculture in Hawaii, and kind of, I guess, how much are you guys monitoring how things are unfolding? If, when you talk about the way agriculture can affect land, does that give you kind of a particular perspective? For example, like organic, if you, the idea of using pesticides, how do those debates play out within FFA?
We have conferences that we talk about that kind of stuff, and you have to do a lot of research on it, and you really have to understand about that kind of thing.
So that there's a whole kind of I guess I'm curious of how much then engagement with kind of current events you guys have. Do you have those kind of debates within class or as homework assignments of kind of being critical, or maybe not critical is the right word, but just the idea of looking how it is being applied? Or for example, so recently you guys you were able to attend the TEDx Honolulu Ag seminar. So does that kind of engagement, speaking with different folks about where we're going in terms of integrating culture or trying to bring more, different ways of bringing more farmers into the industry, how much engagement do you guys do with that through the program?
Through FFA, there's tons of engagement that we do. Like for example, like the state conference we had, in the beginning level, it's a district conference, and you have every chapter there competing in an agricultural-based thing, whether it's agricultural talking type of things, which is extemporaneous speeches I did at the state conference.
Sorry, a speech?
Yeah, so what I did is extemporaneous speeches, they give you a bunch of random topics right on spot, and you choose one, and basically you have to just go off of all the knowledge you know on spot and write a speech. And what I did was, the basis kind of talking about local farmers here in Hawaii and how we can increase food production and things such as like that. And one big thing is imports in Hawaii, because right when the imports stop, or let's say a natural disaster was to happen, we would have food for about 2 to 3 days maximum. So in my speech I was saying maybe we can increase the local farmers in Hawaii, and FFA is here to help do that and get kids pushed into agricultural fields and really just help sustain Hawaii more than it is right now.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And so do you guys have an optimistic view of where we're going, or this idea, or how do you have a suggestion of how we go about doing that, of encouraging more farmers?
With FFA, I think especially with Hawaii's kids, these are some of the most passionate kids I've ever seen. I look into their eyes and they just have such a burning fire in them, and whether it be with agriculture or FFA pushing them to go into another career, it's just helping them so much. And for me personally, FFA did get me into the whole mindset of I really want to be a farmer, and range out to so many other things after that. It's made me want to be a farmer, a zoologist, and things such as like that. So it really broadens your idea about everything, especially with Hawaii, really malamana aina, and just really want to help take care of it, because you're just so hands-on activity with everything and seeing everything on a first-hand basis.
Is FFA in other states as heavily balanced between food production and conservation? Is that kind of a national tendency, or how does that? Is that heavier here in Hawaii, or?
You would know that because you went to Washington.
So I went to a Washington Leadership Conference with my friend Jeremiah, who's currently here right now. And what I saw was every kid there that was at this conference had a farm or had a ranch, and they were growing food, raising cattle. And you come to FFA here in Hawaii, and what we had was we were raising fish and trying to restore native plants and really help the land out more. What I saw more in the mainland is kids really getting more into food production and doing their things with their own farms, with their families. And here in Hawaii, we're really just trying to make Hawaii more sustainable in ways we can, whether it's us going solar, wind, or such things like that. So in Hawaii, I think it's just more based around us helping the land and getting it back to what it used to be.
Yeah, well, that's fascinating. I mean, that's great, that kind of moving forward time when you're talking about food production, tying all those elements together. What I've always learned is you're part of a whole system, so everything kind of has to be in play. So on that kind of sense, when we hear these general dire statements about the younger generation doesn't want to take up farming, these kids don't want to inherit the farm from their parents, our programs, so we have a program like this that, how much would you say, if you even throw out a number of the folks or the kids, the students that are interested in FFA, how much of them already come from an agriculture background, or has this program worked to lure people in? If you can make any statement about that.
I guess just going off of my chapter and some other chapters I've seen so far is most of us had no background in agriculture whatsoever. I originally started my freshman year in IET, which is Academy of Engineering. And then I had no idea what I was getting myself into in the beginning. Then saw FFA, what they were doing, and it kind of just pulled me in because they were digging holes. They're actually doing work outside of the classroom because I'm not an in-classroom type of guy. I just want to be hands-on activity, doing things like that. And it's the most joy, believe it or not, finding out, like growing life and sustaining life yourself and actually helping it prosper. So yeah, most kids here in Hawaii don't really have too much of an agricultural background. When they do go into FFA, like some do have family farms, but it's not as much as the kids in the mainland do.
Mm-hmm. And you joined FFA, you hadn't heard of it before. What about you? Did you already have an agriculture background, or were you coming from the conservation background, or did the program kind of help shape that direction for you?
Oh, once you're in the Academy of Natural Resources, you talk to Garvey once and you're in FFA.
Awesome. Cool, that's so good to hear.
Filipino family, you gotta go into nursing. I wasn't into that. And when I joined the Academy of Natural Resources, which was then a pathway, I had no idea that these kind of things were open to me. Because in intermediate, you take that aptitude test, you put in a few keywords and they tell you marine biologist, veterinarian.
Yeah.
I got marine biologist and I went off of that and I realized that's not what I want to do. I like fish, but I like conservation because it focuses on the environment as a whole,
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we're going to take another quick break and do another rotation, but this is just really exciting for me just to kind of hear, what kind of delving into this topic, what kind of springs up for you guys. So I'm going to save you with me, and we're going to rotate you guys out. Thank you so much. We'll be right back.
Thank you. Aloha, my name is Kirsten Baumgart-Turner, and I'm the host of Sustainable Hawaii at thinktechhawaii.com. We air live on the internet and also on Oceanic Channel 16. I'd invite you to come for a fresh new show every Tuesday from 12 to 1 o'clock. I try to bring on guests that give us a different viewpoint on aspects of sustainability in Hawaii, as well as trying to unpack some of the difficult concepts of measuring and achieving sustainability, particularly with regard to sustainable economic growth and prosperity in Hawaii. Please join us every Tuesday from 12 to 1 p.m. Mahalo, aloha.
Aloha, how you doing? I'm Gordo the Tech Czar here on Think Tech Hawaii, where we co-host Hibachi Talk, where we talk about technology and bring in all kinds of cool guests. Also, my co-host with me today is
Andrew the security guy. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching Think Tech Hawaii, and thanks for watching Hibachi Talk. We also have Angus.
And you there, lad. It's Angus. I bring in all kinds of wee things. Oh, look, you see my lips moving.
Aloha, my name is Carl Campagna. I am the host of Think Tech Hawaii's Education Movers, Shakers, and Reformers. You can see our show every Wednesday at noon at 12 p.m. on thinktechhawaii.com, as well as visiting YouTube and finding the link for the show there. The show is also aired on OC16. We look forward to seeing you on the show. We have many wonderful guests, including Joan Husted, Corey Rosenlee, where we talk about the very important issues of education for our keiki. We look forward to seeing you there. Mahalo.
Aloha and welcome to our final segment of the Hawaii Food and Farmers series. I am your co-host, Justine Espiritu. I have inherited a new co-host today. Sitting next to me is Mac Belbach, who is the president of the Waipahu FFA chapter.
Yes, that's correct.
All right, so do you want to introduce who we have on now?
So right now what we have is Jeremiah and Macy, and I'm gonna let you guys describe your roles in FFA.
You want to go first?
Okay, I'll go first. So my role in FFA is the vice president. So basically, I'm assisting Mac with all the, to get people in time, for field trips, all the money, and we need to get everybody in, on point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then as a role for me in FFA, I'm actually the secretary, so I take in and I do all the roles and the meetings.
Okay. What about any particular subject areas or projects you guys work on at Waipahu?
Okay, so we're actually both in biotechnology too. So last year we were actually able to start up biotech, so then we were working with microorganisms and starting up algae.
And then I'm working in tissue culture, which is getting tissues from the plants, which is you're gonna create the clones inside a controlled media. I make media from water, sugar, and any vitamins that plants need for growing. And then I can use that for our grow beds, so we can grow a lot more faster.
To grow more faster.
Yep.
Okay. So when I hear biotechnology, sometimes that's a really
Bad
controversial
Yeah.
or heated thing. Can you kind of guys explain or like clarify that, or kind of your perception on the role of biotechnology?
So like my role is algae, so what I'm basically doing or trying to do is start up a school aquarium for us inside our fish room, and then with the algae we would actually able to have our own live feed. So with the pace that I'm doing right now, we'd actually have enough to do enough live feed algae to give to our fish.
Well, I'm just like inside the lab doing tissue culture. So my point of view about biotech is it's good for us because some place they have like droughts, they have like lesser rains or they have more rains. We need more plants to like grow in that point so a lot of people can have food in their houses and they don't starve to death. So I'm strong to biotech.
Okay. And so how does the program kind of bring in new elements like that? Or is biotechnology always been a part of the program?
No, we were actually able to bring it in last year because Mr. Garvey, he just like, oh, do you guys want to start something new? And we're like, yeah, sure. So he just brought it in, we tried it out, and we come to figure that we actually really liked it. So from there, we actually took a big toll, and it's a big part of our program now.
Okay. What about, I heard, is Waipahu High School received some sort of recognition or certification nationally?
Oh, yeah.
For that, me and Mace are actually a really big part of that with some other students. Basically what happened is, I believe was it called the
NCAC, so National Academies
certification, something along the lines of that. Yeah, and what they do is they come down and they see if your school should be certified as an actual academy. You know, we do have the basic status of us being a natural resource academy, but it goes on a whole national level. And we were the first ever model status natural resource academy in all of the United States. So we accomplished a big feat with that. And what we did was we showed the people around what we did. FFA was a big part incorporated into that because all the students that take the classes are in FFA, most of them. Most of the main people here all take Garvey's classes and are in FFA. So all of that was just combined together to help us reach that whole status of becoming the first ever model status in Hawaii. So it was a pretty big feat, you know, at the point where you realize all the hard work is finally paid off, yeah.
Okay. And so recently, you guys attended the TEDx Salon event. And so can you talk a little bit about why you're interested in attending and maybe what speaker interests you? I'm just always curious, you know, so you have what you have going on in school and your projects, and then to kind of see how that's integrated into the community as a whole and kind of get your input on what you're interested in on what else is happening.
I guess we can start from Jeremiah and see his take view on
it. Okay, so I forgot the girl's name.
She was from Lanai.
Yeah, so basically she talks about how the people in her place suffer from
food production.
Yeah, and then she just talk about it. So I think we need more people or more like farmers in our place to cut off the imports, and we can like buy our food locally, and we can support Hawaii on our own, and cut the people that trying to put higher prices on the foods that we have, so we can have more money for other stuff.
Yeah, kind of keeping the money local.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then who really interested me and like got my attention was Steve Chang, because he actually talked about, you know, getting more people into working in the land and doing what he actually has to do and what farmers have to do. Because what we're trying to do, or what he was trying to say, was that we need to bring down the age of a farmer down to like about mid-20s or even high school age. And that's what I really want to help with, because, you know, the age that we're at right now, we want to help that. Change it.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of just keeping the younger generation interested in food production. Okay, we actually only have 1 minute left. What about what you saw and kind of resonated with you?
I'm with Macy also about the Steve perspective. Is what he made it sound like, and Mr. Garvey mentioned this actually earlier before the show, is it sounds like he's trying to recruit farmers in, you know, kind of form a farmer army type of thing, you know, make a public service where giving food to the people isn't just a job, it's helping the people and really getting people involved in agriculture and what everything should be. And he is right, the average age of the farmer is around 60 to 65, and we should really decrease that down to our age, you know, 17 to 18, and really get kids involved. And that's why FFA is here in Hawaii, is to get kids involved in agriculture.
How many students would you say, if you can give a ballpark of how many students are involved with FFA?
For Hawaii based, just off of that, I want to say about 300 to 400, even more than that. Just going off based of who was at the conference last time, but it's around 300 to 400, probably more than what I'm saying right now, but it's around that.
Okay. Awesome. Well, that actually wraps up all the time we have. I just want to say thank you again so much. It was great to have you guys rotate.
Thank
I mean, we talk so much on the show about what we want in the future, and it's just great to have this younger generation to kind of give your perspective. And I'm so glad to hear what you guys are interested in and the path that's going to take you on, even if it's not focused on food production, but just the diversity and spreading the knowledge and that consciousness to the even younger generations than you guys. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Thank you.